Welcome, everyone, to the Biz and Tech Podcast. My name is Blake Dowling. I'm the CEO of Aegis Business Technologies, and today we're joined by Jimmy Fasig, lawyer extraordinaire. My friend, welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Blake. This is exciting.
Absolutely. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Personally, I'm very thankful for everything going on in my life right now. Obviously, it's a crazy, crazy year, but here we are. We're doing the Biz and Tech Podcast today, and so glad you're here, man. So tell us a little bit about Jimmy Fasig. What's going on?
Well, I am the managing partner of Fasig Brooks Law Offices, and I'm a personal injury lawyer. So what we do is we help people that have been injured. A lot of times they're going through one of the most challenging times of their life. And so our theme, our tagline basically is come back stronger. So my whole purpose in life, my mission in life is to help people that have gone through major challenges come back stronger. So that's what we're all about. Yes.
That's huge. I was talking to a friend this morning, Oliver, at the house, and we were talking about goal setting and overcoming challenges, his work in the prison system. And it's such a cool topic, and we're going to dive into that a lot more in a few minutes. But first, let's flash back. So you and I met at St. John's Church.
Yes.
At a Tree House Board of Directors meeting.
Yes,
and we had the opportunity to serve together, that noble organization. If you don't know about Tree House is a kids shelter here in the community, and it gives children a home-like environment versus an institutional-like environment. And for anyone that's never seen the organization face-to-face, I will never forget a Christmas morning where I took my father-in-law, my wife, and my stepson over to the house, and we set up a gaming console with the kids. And this young woman who was a guest at the house was just staring at my father-in-law's jacket. And she said, "I've never had a jacket before. That's the nicest jacket." And my father-in-law took the jacket off his back and gave it to her and said, "Now you do." And I still tear up every time I tell that story. But to live it, to see those kids, and to see what Treehouse does. Honored to have served with you in that organization. You're still on the board, correct?
I am still on the board. I just had the privilege of being the president for the last year.
Congratulations.
But I'm still remaining on the board, and I plan on continuing to be on the board because you're absolutely right. This is an organization that helps children who need it most. And we're talking about children that have been displaced. They have been neglected. Their parents may have gone to prison, but for whatever reason, they have to have a place to go, and they don't have a place to go. So it's just really exciting to be part of it. And again, it kind of ties in with my theory and my theme and my mission in life, which is to help people who are in challenging situations come back stronger.
That's huge. I used to manage the email account when I was president of the board of Treehouse. And just one day I glanced at it and I saw this message from a young lady in Augusta, Georgia. And she just said, "I just wanted to say thanks to someone who's receiving this. I was a guest at Treehouse when I was a kid, and I just graduated college. I'm starting my career."
Wow.
And I said, "Well, you should come speak at our event. Awesome. You're the best." And she's like, "Well, I came out a little strong." But those are the kind of stories that you usually don't hear, you know, the success stories. And Treehouse fills that need, and it's such an honor to serve that organization. Louis Posky from our office is still on the board.
Yeah, he sure is.
And you said you're still on the board. And I know Slater has been president, and Mark was president too, wasn't he?
Yes, he sure was, Mark Hall.
When I joined the board, Brett Thompson was president 5 years in a row. Like there was not that cohesive leadership. And he was able to build, you know, a line of leaders, and to see it so strong and flourishing now is awesome.
Allison Harrell is the current president.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so we got a challenge this year because our yearly event, which is a fundraiser, is Fast Cars and Mason Jars, which of course you know. But with COVID, the question is, how are we going to do it? And we have come up with a really solid game plan. It's going to be outside. It's always outside, but it's going to be all spread out. We're going to be safe and sound, but we're also going to do the event. We're going to raise the money for the kids, and I can't wait to see how it shakes out. Laura Wittenberg is the chair this year for Fast Cars. Yes.
And how can people learn more about Fast Cars and Mason Jars?
The Tree House website.
Okay.
All you have to do is put in Tree House Tallahassee, and you will find it, and you will be able to get tickets. Right now, we're selling tickets. We're selling tables, and so all the information you could possibly want.
Awesome. It sells out every year, and it fills, like I said, a huge need in our community. So get out there and check out Tree House.
Yes.
Excellent. So tell us about your background. Obviously, you and I had lunch a couple years ago, and we went from talking weather and sports to talking some serious, deep topics. And let's start at the beginning. You've got the book coming out now.
Yes.
We talked about your law practice a little bit. For those watching, check out the book here.
Yes.
You can contact Jimmy via website to pick up a copy?
Yeah, you can go to the Fasig Brooks Facebook page, and also the Fasig Brooks website, FasigBrooks.com. And so basically my story is, the big story is that I am a lawyer now, but before I became a lawyer, I went to prison for 2.5 years, and I am a convicted felon. And so obviously, having gone to prison, become a convicted felon, I had some major challenges of my own that I had to overcome. And I did that. So while I was in prison, and all of this is in the book, but essentially while I was in prison, I decided that I wanted to become a better man. I wanted to become the kind of man that makes a difference, a positive difference in the world. And I had some moments before, while I was a drug trafficker, and that's why I ended up going to prison. But I had some moments during that experience of being a drug trafficker where I realized that life is not about money and seeking pleasure and chasing women. Life is about giving back. Life is about contributing. So that started to sink in, and in prison I decided I'm going to become a better person, and I read every single self-help book I could possibly find. I read Think and Grow Rich like 100 times, and I changed myself from the inside out. And so while I was in prison, I set goals about where I want to be 5 years from my release, 5-year goals. And essentially one of the goals was to be a lawyer. One was to be a partner in a law firm. I wanted to own my own house, have perfect credit, and I wanted a silver convertible Mercedes SL 500. And
I'm glad you got that in there.
Yes,
that's
yes,
a great story.
I wanted this Mercedes too. And because I wrote the goals down, I repeated them every day. I wrote them down as much as I could. I visualized myself achieving the goals. Literally 5 years later, actually it was 3 months, it was in September of 2005, I got a letter from the Florida bar saying that I'd been accepted as a lawyer unconditionally. And that very same week, I got offered a partnership at the law firm that I had been working with as a paralegal for the last 5 years. And then at that point, I had the house. I actually owned 3 houses, not just one. I had perfect credit. And the only thing that I did not get that I had written down on my goals list was the Mercedes. The Mercedes. And so what I did was, this is absolutely fascinating, Blake. I love telling this story. A lot of people have already heard it, but this is magical. So I had put the Mercedes out of my mind.
Right.
Because I thought I was going to invest in real estate. I was going to get rich investing in real estate. This is in 2005, before the real estate bust. Right? So that turned out to be a really bad idea. But I said, I'm not going to buy the Mercedes because I'm going to be smart and invest in real estate. So I put it out of my mind, and then in December of 2005, right before my deadline of my goal, my stepdad invited me to a Christmas party, and I had no idea, but I found out when I got there. I had to drive an hour and a half to get there. I found out when I got there that it was a Mercedes Club Christmas party. And as soon as I get there, this lady stands up and she says, "We want to know who drove the furthest to get here." So I raised my hand, and I said, "I drove from Tallahassee." She said, "Congratulations. You just won a silver convertible Mercedes SL 500. The same make, the same model, the same color, the same year, same body style as I had actually ripped a page out of a magazine out and put it in my prison locker. The exact same car, but It was the Matchbox version. It was this big. Yes.
The stars were aligned.
I mean, I think about that a lot because the chances of that happening right when it did, right before my deadline, are astronomical. It's more astronomical than winning the lottery. Way more astronomical with the same make, same model, and all the stuff that had to happen behind the scenes to make that happen. And so I think that's such a magical moment in my life. And since then I've tried to piece together how that worked. Like, what are the nuts and bolts of how that worked? And people say God works in mysterious ways. Well, but really, what's really going on here? And so I try to answer that question in this book. And it still fascinates me to this day. Every time I think about it, I get chills.
That is unbelievable. Overcoming challenges is such a huge part of life, and to be able to set goals and overcome those barriers to success. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's just huge. And the Mercedes story is such a reaffirmation of life and fate and hard work and sometimes luck.
Yes.
Being at the right place at the right time and saying yes.
Yeah.
If you hadn't said yes to that Christmas party,
yes.
Who knows what would have happened. On a much lighter note, this moment in time just popped into my head. I had a pretty severe learning disability in mathematics when I was in college, and it was undiagnosed, and I kept getting kicked back into lower math classes. And my last class before I could get my degree was at Santa Fe Community College, college algebra. I was still struggling at the end, and I worked for the grades, but they weren't coming. And the teacher recognized that, and he sat there, and I told him my story. I was like, most of the people in the class were freshmen. I was like, I'm a fifth-year senior. I have accepted a job in Atlanta. My car's out front, packed, and I'm about ready to go. He was like, well, let's grade your exam right here and right now. He's like, what do you need to pass? I'm like, I need a 70 to pass. I'm not shooting for the stars.
Yes.
I need a 70. And he looked at me, and he went through the paper, and he made some X's and corrections, and he just wrote 70 on the top and handed it to me and said, congratulations.
That's awesome.
And what happened exactly there, I don't know, but it was just a moment in life, and I'll never forget that moment. And, what Oliver was telling me this morning, you were talking about time and becoming a better man. He's like, the gentleman that he worked with that were incarcerated said, if I'd only had this time earlier in life, when that decision point was presented to me and I made the wrong one, if I could have just thought about it a little longer, where would I be now? What would I be experiencing? Well, thank you for sharing that. It's a heavy message. I encourage anyone listening or watching today to make sure to check out Jimmy's story. The Facebook group is also pretty fun, pretty motivational.
Yes. And the Comeback Stronger group, Fasig Brooks Comeback Stronger group. Yes, very exciting because we got a bunch of cool people that are members of the group.
Like Samantha Vance, who's been a guest on the podcast. She's
awesome, yes.
She's powerful. And Ladies Learning to Lead, such a fabulous organization. And she's all about goal setting too. Excellent. All right, well, let's pivot a little bit. Sure. Pivot is a very popular word in 2020.
Oh, yeah, it sure is.
If you're not pivoting, you're missing the boat. You got to be pivoting.
You got to pivot.
You got to pivot. Game changing. But, let's pivot to the family front.
Okay.
So you all, it's 2020. If, like our family, I'm sure you're spending a lot of time on the home front.
Yes, sure.
Cooking out, hanging out, enjoying the outdoors when the weather permits, like this week. It's been fantastic. What's a perfect meal like on the home front? Are you the chef? What's going on there?
Taco Tuesday.
Taco
My
Tuesday.
favorite day of the week because I have 3 daughters.
Okay.
And they are all cheerleaders. And so they practice all the time. And one of them is also in soccer. So she's constantly practicing. So the one night a week that we all have together as a family is Tuesday. And we have Taco Tuesday every Tuesday. Tacos happens to be my favorite meal. And we make it with nice, a real ribeye steak and we do it upright. And then we play Clue every Tuesday too. So, and I'm like, it's Mr. Plum in the bedroom with the lead pipe.
Right.
And to me, that's the best day all week.
Jimmy by the pool with the taco.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
We were talking about tacos on the way over, my assistant Adrian and I. Thank you for your assistant coordinating today's episode. Well, awesome. So you mentioned the ribeye steak. That's next level. When we make Philly cheesesteaks, sometimes we'll get the ribeyes sliced.
Yes,
instead of doing it the other way. What kind of other accompaniments are we talking about? Avocados.
Man.
What are we
Absolutely.
going?
We make fresh guacamole. We get our own avocados and put some lime in there and some onion, cilantro, and some salt. And so we got fresh guacamole. Fresh. I love the jalapenos. I'll put jalapenos on everything. So yeah,
The pickled or the
no.
up?
I like fresh jalapenos. Pickled jalapenos is not my thing.
I did jalapenos at Barbaritos the other day.
Okay.
Didn't say pickled because I'm a pickled.
Okay,
pickle person.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of a different game.
Oh, it's a whole different game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I like it hot though.
So, beverage of choice on that Tuesday, a nice lemonade, a margarita. What are you thinking?
Well, I like a nice red wine. So yeah, little Cabernet. I like, my favorite is Belglas.
Okay.
Las Alturas Belglas, and so I'll have a glass of wine or two while we're playing Clue and we're making the tacos, and we do it upright. I mean, that to me is a party.
That is a party.
Yeah.
My wine recommendation for you and for the world today is Saldo.
Okay.
It's a prisoner wine.
Oh, okay.
California winery. It's a Pinot Noir. We were at the Bull and the Bear in Orlando at the Waldorf, and the gentleman recommended it. And along with a seafood tower. Wow.
Yum.
It was a party.
Saldo wine. I'll have to check it out.
They have it at Whole Foods here locally.
All right, nice.
It's a plain, it looks like a little, that red tape, like from a little letter maker thing. It's like very simple. That's it. It just says Saldo.
Okay.
That's
All right.
awesome.
I will check it out.
So on the tunes front, I used to work in the music business.
Yes.
I started my career with booking the band Sister Hazel when they were a bar band back in Gainesville.
No way.
And I followed them
No, you didn't.
all the
That's
way
awesome.
to, we'll call it the top. I mean, they had a number one song,
they sure
platinum
did.
album.
Absolutely. I used to see them at Floyd's.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great.
I still keep up with Ken and Andrew, the two singers, and Ryan, the guitar
Okay.
player. They're rocking and rolling still, no pun intended. They just did a drive-through tour down in Tampa. They set up in Raymond James Stadium parking lot.
I heard about this.
And you just wheel on up and roll down your windows, hang out. Everybody stays in their cars.
Very cool.
But you get to see some live music. They get to take their crew back out on the road, which is huge because you think about that industry. Road crews, bands, booking agents, they haven't worked in 6 months.
Yeah.
So happy to see those gentlemen, my friends, back on the road and bringing some smiles to their fans.
It's very, very cool. I saw Sister Hazel with Creed one time at Floyd's. That was awesome.
That's quite a pairing.
Yeah, it was
some
quite
hard rock and some Americana rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Creed guys. I knew them when they were coming up. Scott Stapp, really cool dude. And good to see him back on top, too. He had some rough years there, but amazing stories. And to come out of Tallahassee and Gainesville, a lot of people from Los Angeles and New York, they get to see that all the time.
Yeah.
But, to see bands coming up through the ranks.
Right from here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, like Less Than Jake
awesome.
used to gig around Gainesville quite a bit.
Yeah.
Bands from out of town like Edwin McCain and Hootie the Blowfish, Matchbox 20, which used to be called Tabitha's Secret. They're out of Orlando. So we do have a little bit of a music scene here. And it was an honor to work in it briefly. Cool. So what else is going on the home front? Talked about music, talked about games.
Yeah.
You're a married man, correct?
I'm a married man. So my life these days is all about cheer. My daughter's being cheerleaders. So I am traveling, for example, this weekend to Atlanta for a cheer competition. How we're going to do it safely, I'm not sure, but I think they're probably going to have the kids compete, and then they will probably I don't know what they're going to do to keep everybody safe, but I'm excited to do it because it's been so long since we've been able to go to events and do fun things like that. And the kids are super excited, but that's what I'm all about these days is I get the funny T-shirt that says that I'm a cheer dad.
Cheer dad.
Yeah,
That's what I was about to say.
I'm a cheer dad, and I wear it with
Awesome.
pride. And we go to the competitions, and we have a bang up time.
Well, when my stepson was younger, Reed, he played lacrosse, and
Okay.
we would go to Jacksonville and Atlanta and all over to go to these tournaments, right? And I don't know, who was in charge of these tournaments, but they would do you'd have the 7 a.m. slot, and then the noon slot, and then like the 5 slot. And of course, the hotel is nowhere near where the competitions are. So, you are committed to those days, and you're talking Florida heat. But some of the coolest people I've met in Tallahassee have been at some of those events because the commonality and the camaraderie is so fun. Well, good for you. And obviously spending time with kids outside of the normal day-to-day grind is special because it'll
100%.
It'll be gone.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing. If you're going to say that there's anything beneficial about COVID, is that we have had the opportunity to spend more time with the kids, and but getting that's all it was all in the house, and I think everybody has been kind of getting sort of claustrophobic about staying in the house all the time. So now we're getting out there with the kids, and so that's even more fun.
Yeah, I went to my first football game a couple of weekends ago down in Gainesville, so that was surreal. And on the plus side, people talk about the negatives of 2020 all the time. The plus side,
sure.
When's the last time you've been to a SEC or ACC football game where there's no lines,
right?
There's no traffic. Those are some big pluses.
Yeah.
We enjoyed the game. We won. We're on a bit of a roll. Our quarterback, Kyle Trask, is a Heisman front runner potentially. So, got to make the best of the year, and we're trying to do that as fans of the University of Florida. But kudos to you. So, before we close today, we just lightning fast went through a lot of information.
Yes.
What else is going on with Jimmy Fasig? I love you guys' advertisements.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
I was talking to Gary Jordan the other day about the conversational aspect of them. Gary and I go way back, and he was just like, they're nailing it. They're doing a great job there. And I've seen other law firms in town follow that lead now. Tell us about that, the origin of that, because I don't remember what your old ads were like, but I don't think they were that.
Well, it's basically our new ads are all about the Come Back Stronger theme.
Right.
And this is my mission in life. I want people to know that every obstacle, every injury, every setback, every disappointment, every failure is an opportunity to begin again, to reevaluate your life and begin again stronger and wiser. And that, I believe, is not just a smart thing to do. I think it's part of the reason why we were put on this earth, is to learn how to face challenges and overcome challenges, and to take our own power back and claim our power. And that's what I'm all about. So when a client comes to me and they've been injured, and what happens is a lot of times they get hit from behind by a semi truck, something completely out of their control.
Right.
And it turns their entire life upside down. So my job is not just to get them a check at the end of the day, but it's to give them the guidance to know that this particular event, it's a disruption in your life, but every disruption that we have in our life is always an opportunity to reevaluate, see what's important, see what's not important, and to move forward stronger and wiser.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a great message. And on the Biz and Tech podcast, we always have takeaways and action items, and we're sharing Second Harvest's events or Ladies Learning to Lead, their message. But today, I hope we've given you a motivational and inspirational message, because if you're not setting goals, if you're not preparing for next year already, it's time to do it.
Yes.
We're not getting any younger, and the opportunity to come back stronger is here for all of us.
That's right.
And whatever challenge you're facing today, let's knock it out of the park. Awesome. Well, as we close today, I remind you, I am Blake Dowling, CEO of Aegis Business Technologies. If you need anything in the world of technology, give me a call. If I can't help you, I will definitely point you in the right direction. Jimmy, I sincerely thank you for joining us today. This was a fun Biz and Tech podcast.
So much fun.
We just crossed the 1 year mark with our production. Thank you, Level Up Media. We'll be posting this around the world. And thank you, Adrian, again for your assistance. Thank you, Florida. Thank you, America. Thank you, Tallahassee. We will see you next time. And if I may, happy Thanksgiving to everyone and their families. God bless you. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.